Hey guys, and welcome to Tyria Tribune. My name is John, and I got Ben here. How you doing, Ben?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good, good. Today we're going to go ahead and go over the pre-purchases for Guild Wars 2. Now, the differences the different pre-purchases that there are, which is the digital standard edition, which is $59.99, which is just comes with the game, as well as the digital deluxe edition, which is $79.99, which comes with in-game items as well as the game, and the collector's edition, which is $149.99, which comes with the in-game items from the digital edition as well as physical items as well. Ben, do you want to go over what they include?
Yeah, going into more detail about what the different editions come with. Like John said before, the digital edition only comes with the game, and that's pretty much a standard fee for a new game. The digital deluxe edition, however, comes with the game and several in-game items. The first being a summon Mistfire Wolf's elite skill. This hasn't really been released in whether it's going to be a cosmetic elite skill or whether it's going to be something that actually has stats and will do damage or actually do anything at all. Next one is probably the biggest one in my opinion, which is the Ritlock miniature. In the first Guild Wars, they also gave away a couple miniatures that came with the collector's edition, or in this case the digital deluxe edition, and that miniature sells for a ton of in-game gold. Whether that's worth it to you is up to you, but to each their own. Next one, they're kind of okay. The Golem Banker, which is pretty much anywhere in the world you can access your bank. Useful if you're in the middle of nowhere and don't want to go back. Chalice of Glory, Glory is kind of the PvP in-game cash, in which you can buy PvP weapons, PvP armor, stuff like that. And then the last one is the Tome of Influence, which is a one-time boost of influence. This is useful for really unlocking a lot of your guild stuff, which is guild vaults, emblems, other items for your guild. Now, the big one is the collector's edition, and whether that's worth the money or not. So, first of all, it comes with the same digital items that we talked about before, but in addition to that, it also comes with a 10-inch figurine of Ritlock, a 112-page Making of Guild Wars 2 book, custom art frame, art portfolio, and 5 art prints, and the Best of Guild Wars 2 soundtrack CD. Now, there are several different things you need to look out for on this, so you don't make sure that you don't get a little bit deceived on the language they used here. First off, the art portfolio and 5 art prints is not the same thing as the art book that they sell for $50 online. The art book is a full book, which is, I believe, over 100 pages, and the one they sell with the collector's edition is only 5 art prints. And the second big thing is the Best of Guild Wars 2 soundtrack CD. It's not the full CD. You'll probably only get, a couple, I'm guessing 6 of the soundtracks that will be on the CD. John, do you want to take over from here?
Yeah, so let's go ahead and go over the differences between a pre-purchase and a pre-order. Now, let's just go ahead and start with the pre-order. The pre-order you would do at a retailer, which I'm assuming is the same for the physical items for the collector's edition, which are going to be sold, which is the GameStop and a Best Buy. For the pre-order, the only thing that you get out of it is a 1-day head start when the game is released. And for the pre-purchases, if you're probably on April 10th when it does come out, you'll be able to get access to all Guild Wars 2 beta weekend events, as well as a 3-day head start when the game does come out, and an in-game item which is called Heroes Band, which gives you plus a certain amount for stats. Now, would you like to go over the ESRB rating for the game?
Yeah, so recently Arena has released the ESRB rating, which is T for teen, and this is for blood, mild language, use of alcohol, and violence. Honestly, I think there's some sexual themes in there, but that's just armored detail. And of course, it also should be noted that because Guild Wars 2 is an online game, the rating is liable to change because of different players you're going to play with. But who cares? um, John, I also heard about a console release. What do you know about that?
The console release is something that I personally don't think that it's going to end up happening. What a lot of people were saying, on the subreddits and other forums like Guild Wars 2 Guru, were just basically stating that it was mainly for the shareholding itself and trying to get that investment that they're going to be needing. Now, I'm not saying that the console release is not imminent, because it certainly can be. I think it'd be a great idea for them. I think that's something that a lot of other previous developers have not done so well, but being that Guild Wars 2 is a lot more action based or something like that, I think that's something that would really benefit them. I think it'd be easy transition, especially with only 10 skills on the bar. I think it'd be something natural. But with that being said, I do not think that would be something that would come into fruition. Now, there's one thing that we have to make sure that we do mention, which is for the Guild Wars 2 Collector's Edition. For retail purchases, when you do pre-purchase the game, if you do, you have to make sure you bring proof of purchase to the retailer as well as the retail serial code. Now, you have to do that within 5 days after the release to be able to continue playing without that interruption between the game.
And also, I'm going to focus on the USA mostly just because, I live in the US. But really the only place you can order and buy the collector's edition in the US is at GameStop. And GameStop used to be a great company, and I still respect them as a company. However, they have a less than lackluster tradition in really taking stuff out of the boxes of collector's editions. So, for instance, when they sold the collector's edition of the first Guild Wars, people would open their boxes and there would be no disc, there would be no bonus items at all. It would more or less be an empty box. And so this is very important. If you're buying the collector's edition from GameStop, you need to open the box after you buy it in the store to make sure everything is in there. Take inventory, make sure you aren't being gypped. Because if you leave the store and then come back and say there's nothing in the box, there's nothing they can do. There's nothing you can do to get your items back. You just burned $150. How do you feel about yourself now? I can't really say anything about any other store because I don't have knowledge about those, but I would typically just try and open the collector's edition in the store that you buy it at, just to make sure you have everything. You never know.
For the collector's edition, it does come with, the in-game items as well as physical items, which is $149, which is something that I'm a little bit... It's personally not something I would get. I mean, the only reason I would get the collector's edition itself, especially for the high price point, would be for the 10-inch Gridlock figurine. And I think that, like you stated before, is a collector's item. But I think if they were to add the 158-page art book into it instead of the Making of Guild Wars 2 book, I think that would have been a really nice addition in there, especially for how prestigious their artists are and how much they actually put forth for their art. I think that would have been a lot better choice. But with that being said, I think a lot of people are going to go for it. Do you think that's a worthy price point for the collector's edition?
I mean, honestly, like you said before, you would most likely get the collector's edition just for the 10-inch Gridlock figurine. However, given the rest of that, I don't think it's worth the extra money. I'm going to buy the collector's edition just because I want to give Arena my money. However, just summing it up, the custom art frame is a fancy way of saying we give you a white box that will hold a picture. It's honestly probably going to be like a $2 frame. Who cares? The 5 art prints, they're okay and they're good art. I'm not trying to discredit the artist at all because it's fantastic art. It's probably some of the best I've seen in a long time. But there's only 5 of them, and just judging off the picture, it can't be much bigger than the figurine.
Like a 10 by 8, if that.
Yeah. It looks actually in the picture. It looks to be shorter than the figurine based off the angle that the picture was taken.
Yeah. Now, do you think the digital deluxe edition would be worth that $20 more just for the in-game items? You know, with the elite skill, or like you mentioned before, the Ridlock miniature.
Based off that, I would definitely say that the digital deluxe version is totally worth it because even if you don't want the Ridlock miniature, it's going to sell for a lot. People are going to want it because not everyone will get a collector's or deluxe digital deluxe edition. Now, one thing to also take into consideration is that previously there weren't three versions. It was just the standard edition and the collector's edition. And that meant the only way you would get the extras was paying the extra $100 to get the collector's edition. Now, I'm estimating that the Ritlock miniature probably won't be worth nearly as much as the other exclusive miniatures in the original Guild Wars, simply because it's a digital deluxe version and it's just so much easier to get a hold of just for $20 more dollars. So if you think that it's worth it, Ritlock is, in my opinion, the most badass character out there.
True story.
And I'm going to keep it. But that's just me. If you don't want it, you can sell it. I'm sure it'll probably still go for a hefty sum. Just because I think that they're only going to be selling the digital deluxe and the collector's edition for a limited time. They aren't going to be there forever.
Yeah, and I think that pretty much sums up everything in a nutshell. I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast, and I hope we hear from you guys again. If you guys have any comments at all, make sure you leave them. We'll be glad to hear them out. Give us some kind of criticism. We'll be glad to do more with this, you guys. You guys have a good night.
Take care.